Are you ready to unleash your full potential and become unstoppable in your success and leadership?
Welcome to the Unleashed and Unstoppable podcast, where we provide powerful insights and strategies for coaches, corporate leaders, and entrepreneurs. I'm Alexanne Carter.
And I'm Carol Register, and we're certified master neurocoaches who are passionate about helping you overcome your limiting beliefs and optimize your performance.
Each week, we'll be sharing actionable tips and strategies using neuroscience, from interviews with industry experts to solo episodes to help you lead a life of power, purpose, and possibility on your own terms.
Join our community of like-minded individuals. Hit subscribe now and let's be unleashed and unstoppable together.
Hey, ambitious leader, welcome back. 2025, we are here. And Carol and I are recording these special, quick little episodes for you to support you in setting yourself up for success. Let me try that one again. Setting yourself up for success in 2025. So, January 2nd, we had our episode about acknowledging yourself and really celebrating yourself and really seeing the gifts in you as a leader in what you're creating. Last week, we had Ebdahal on, and she really leaned into what her secret was when it comes to powerfully living out her vision and being able to stay strong and solid, especially when you're up against, the thing is, you're up against big things. You are creating big things in this world.
Yeah.
And some days are not all, roses and sunshine, right? So there's that the expression. It still makes sense, right? So this is where the vision that Carol and I had for our intention behind these episodes in January are to really lean into, again, setting yourself up for success, tapping into the neuroscience of success, and really being able to create some time and space for you to really lean in and dig into the things so that this is the year that you become and you are being unleashed and unstoppable.
Being unleashed and unstoppable. I love it. It's really something that I have looked forward to doing this with you. And, sometimes we just need a quick 10-minute jump in, bit of encouragement. And we're excited about what is possible for you and looking at what has been standing in the gap for us from where we've been, celebrating and acknowledging that, making that shift into writing our stories from a place of success rather than from a place of safety and negativity, which, those familiar patterns are, and turning it around into being who we want to be with the intimate details, with the knowing our vision, painting that picture for our brain. How can we paint a picture for our brain, Alex Leanne? What do we get to do here?
Well, Carol and I talked a bit about something that we wanted to introduce new this year, and it's called the victory letter.
That's right.
The victory letter, we talked about this, right? When you're in a race, right? It's that victory lap. It's crossing the finish line, right? So it's like you're celebrating. It's the victory place. And so we wanted to introduce to you this concept of a victory letter and really help taking some of what even Ebdahal talked a little bit about, looking at also what you're acknowledging yourself for in 2024 and incorporating that into this victory letter, which essentially is dated 1 year from today. 1 year from today. So that's really, really important, right? Because what's super important when we're looking at creating our future and what we're up to is, fast forward into the future. So our brain doesn't know the difference between the reality and rehearsal. And so one thing that really helps, and this is what we, with Ebdahal, right, really drove in with the power of the vision. We have a powerful vision, and Joanne shared it too, even on the interview with us as well, right? Yeah. When you have a powerful vision and you wake up and are grounded in that vision, then you show up and you make decisions, right? You take actions that are aligned with the result that you want to create. And you lead us by your identity, right?
Yeah.
Based on the future vision of the identity that you get to be in order to create the victory that you want to experience at the end of this year, 1 year from now.
That's right. And So, we spoke when we talked about our first episode in this series, episode before last, with acknowledging yourself, with asking yourself what's working and really leaning into that for 2024. Before you go into writing this, it's so important that we keep this frame of reference, right? And we look at what we are creating from that place of intimacy. Being intimate with our details, just to reiterate that, is being detailed with the pictures we're painting for our brain, because our brains don't know the difference between, as you just said, Alex, reality and imaginary, right? And we even call it reality, but in the truth of it is we are creating our reality. We have been gifted with this amazing divine power to have a lot more control over our lives than we realize. And a part of this can be shifting from always thinking of life as coming at us and coming from a place of obstacles and challenges, which it will have, but using those in the learning journey, in the discovery process of creating that reality that we want to create. And there's thousands upon thousands of powerful examples of this. This is something that has been going on throughout history. And I invite you to go and read some biographies of the people that you really admire, people who have accomplished things that you admire, athletes, musicians, scientists, authors, artists, whoever it may be for you, politicians that have created a reality that you admired, and go and look and study in what they did. So this is our hack, right? We're going to do this wonderful victory letter by getting intimate with the details, by going into detail on the vision that you are creating, because you're stepping into this from this place of identity, from this place of knowing what your belief systems are, being able to make decisions from that place, take the actions, and receive the results. And Alex, what does that mean when we talk about being neutral with our details? Like, we're intimate with our details, but how do we, I think it was you, somebody mentioned in leadership, I think it was maybe in leadership, how do we go to this place of being neutral then with those intimate details that we're creating?
The way I like to look at it, and I've often shared, like, even like, entrepreneurship or life is a giant science experiment, right? Because even with any science experiment, you have an outcome that you want to go after, but you sometimes not exactly know, the magical formula to create the actual outcome that you want, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and here's a
Not
really funny
knowing the
example.
how.
Yeah. So here I'm gonna actually give you a great example. Okay, a bubble bath. So our water in Calgary is a lot harder because our water comes from the mountain. And so I learned that because our water is harder, we require a lot more bubble bath to make bubbles for a bubble bath. And so sometimes I don't know, right? Is that enough? Do I need to add a little bit more? Do I need to add a little bit more, right? And it's just being open to, okay, not just like putting the cap on, putting it back. It's being ready and looking for the feedback of how much bubbles are being made. And if there's not enough bubbles, then I know I need to add more. If I've got lots of bubbles, then I know I'm good. But a lot of times we go into things and it's like, it's got to be this way and that's it, right? We're so attached to the outcome. And yes, it's important.
We have to know the how.
Yeah. And it's important that we create the structure around what it is that you want to go after, right? This is why with the victory letter, it's all about leading to your five senses, how you feel, what do you see, what do you smell, what do you taste, right? So we activate those senses in our brain.
Yeah.
But it's also, this letter is not necessarily about, the step by step by step by step by step. It's really about, here is me a year from now. Here's what I was able to create. And this is how it happened. And when we can lean in to be very neutral with results and being open for feedback, being open for, okay, did I put enough bubble bath in, or do I need to add more bubble bath? Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's funny and I make a joke about it, but I don't think it bothers us how much, if we put in a little or a lot, but it's to be able to make that comparison with other things, because a lot of times we allow what the results, we allow what the feedback gives us to define who we are, right?
Yeah.
And looking at, well, we're a failure, we're not good enough. But when we can take a look at results as very neutral in terms of giving us feedback that this is working, this isn't working. Same again, going back to the science experiment, right? This is working. We're getting closer to the result, but we're not quite there yet. So we get to adjust.
Right.
We get to pivot. We get to shift. And that's the journey of leadership. When you're able to be neutral and look at, okay, here's what's working. Fantastic. Celebrate. Because guess what? There's always something working. Even if it's just you showing up, there's always something working.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I'm a leader. I'm going to look at my results from a neutral place and see, all right, this is where I get to try something different. This is where I get to shift. And then it's the openness, right? I mean, that's
knowing it's possible.
Yeah.
Knowing, even referring back to Abdahal's episode again, asking ourselves, what's possible in this situation?
Yeah.
I love that. And I love the fact that we can, neutralize things so that we can really look from a place of, I wouldn't say objectivity, but we can look from a place where we're letting go of the emotion surrounding it. However, I think you brought up something really important, and that is in this victory letter. Then one of the things that Alex and I teach with vision priming, with setting a vision, is to, as she said, use the five senses. What are you wearing? Answer it in detail. Answer it as if it's something you're going to put on tomorrow, even though we're looking at things from a year from now, right? And what is the ambiance? Are you inside, you outside? What's the temperature? What's the lighting? Is there music playing? Really create a real place from where you are able to look at things in detail and start to understand what's possible. And this is what gets exciting, right? Because this is where our brain sees this real picture. You step into it. You are actively creating your reality in this case. And what a wonderful thing to be able to do, right?
I always say to my clients, you want to write it out and you would want to imagine giving it to a painter, and the painter could go and paint it. And when we interviewed Joanne, she had her mission, her vision behind her on a painting, and it's so beautiful to be able to give that much context and texture to it, right? And so that's what's really important with the Victory Lab, about writing it as if it's already happened. It's in the past. And really then weaving into your story about, again, right, who you are and how you overcame some of the obstacles that you faced. I love that Abdahal really leaned into self-love.
Yeah.
So this could be something like that as you're, why this exercise is so powerful is that it really helps you see and get intimate. Again, that intimate word. Where do you get to go in 2025?
Yeah.
Where do you get to take yourself on your self-development journey? When you look at some of the things, so a lot of times we have these goals, right? It's who we get to become in the process of achieving them. And so is self-love maybe something that you get to go down a route, right? Is it in your relationship? Is it your health? So really looking at different categories of your life, taking again an evaluation of where you're at right now, right? And where you get to go. Where do you see yourself? What do you want to experience? That's a big thing too, right? It's not just about the to-do list. How do you want to feel?
How do you want to feel? Yes.
In this year, right?
Yes. That's right. Feeling is such a key component of this. And we're so excited to bring this to you. We want to wrap it up right now, give you this quick tip, and we're excited to do more of this for you this year, as well as bring you the ongoing information about how you can use neuroscience in your leadership, in your productivity, in your wealth, in order to live an unleashed and unstoppable life. So, any final words before we wrap up here, Alex?
Just that we would love for you to take a picture of the letter, post on socials, tag myself and Carol.
Yes.
And and even send us, if you've got questions that come up, send us a message through the app, through wherever you're listening to the podcast. There's a way to send us a message. Click on that. And we're just so excited to be on this journey with you in 2025 and helping you, right, really be unleashed and unstoppable. So we'll see you next Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Ciao for now.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Unleashed Unstoppable podcast with your hosts, Alexandra Carter and Carol Register.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review, and subscribe.
That's all for this episode, Wildly Ambitious Leaders. See you next week.